Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. Time to talk a little Bucks basketball. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, co-host of the Wendy's Big Show weekdays from 2 until 6 on AM 1250 and 105.7 FM The Fan. He is Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. And let's talk about this Bucks basketball team who all of a sudden now are rolling. In a good way. They're 5 of 7 now in their last 7 games. And really, the catalyst...
5 and 7.
5 of 7.
5 of 7, okay.
Khris Middleton really has become the catalyst for this team. As much as he struggled early on in the season to find his shot for the first month and a half or so, he's found his shot now. And not only has he found his shot, but he's helping to run the offense too, Gary.
Yeah, he has definitely become the go-to guy in that team. I don't like it. I think Khris Middleton is going through a very good stretch.
He's hot.
But he is constantly putting up 18 to 24 shots a game. And I just wonder how that's going.
Dude, his field goal percentage is over 50% in his last 10 games.
He has played very well.
Until his field goal percentage drops, you just let him go.
It kind of reminds me of going back in time. World be free. Every time he touches the ball, he's looking to put it up. But
that's not the point with Middleton. Middleton had 7 assists in his last game.
He's had a couple of very good games.
Middleton is passing the basketball.
He's playing at a very high level. But I'm curious to see if this holds true. And he starts taking 20 shots a game, and he's sitting 5 or 6. How that's going to
then it'll
affect
stop
the rest of the team.
But it'll stop.
He will not stop. He has a shooter's mentality. I bet he's going to be this way.
See, I don't. Maybe I'll be wrong on all this. Do I think he can shoot 50% all year? No, I don't.
No, absolutely
I think
not.
he will calm down. But what I do think is he's not going to probably go back to the funk that he was in November. So if Middleton can be a guy that gives you 18 a night the rest of the year, that's good. Okay,
absolutely.
Now the question is between Giannis and Jabari, who's going to be the other guy that can help out with scoring? Because Middleton can't do it by himself.
No, I mean you're talking even Monroe. You got 3 other guys that are legitimate.
Monroe's going to give you a 15 and 10 every night or somewhere in that area.
But he has good shots. Yeah, and I just wonder about the shot distribution. Now, if he turns out to be a legitimate star, no problem because everybody needs one. Okay, but if he has a series of bad games where he's still launching them, then I think they're going to have issues because the other guys on the team want the ball.
But see, this is the funny thing. You and I have talked about. You have to run specific set plays for certain players on this team and let them go. But in this offense, it'll never go that way because it's all about sharing everything else.
Right.
Now we come back and you're saying, well, now I don't like this guy taking so many shots. Let's have more of an equal distribution. Which one is it?
No. I mean, that's where I think the Bucks have a problem. We talked about this on the post-game show a couple of weeks ago. To me, they have too many offensive-minded players on the floor at the same time. The crazy thing is, though, they're not scoring a lot of points. I mean, they're not an explosive offensive team. But, I mean, when you have 3 or 4 guys that all want a number of shots. Right now, Jabari Parker has been incredibly content. You know he's not going to be an 8 to 9 shot per game scorer. I mean, you're not the number 2 pick in the NBA draft and coming in and averaging 11, 12 points a game. You're going to want your shots at some point. Right now, he has been totally team-oriented, but I don't know. I mean, at some point, I just wonder if that's going to change.
But to me, that's on the coaching staff. And
I agree.
Maybe I'm wrong about this, but if you think Jabari can shoot at a high percentage and take 15 to 16 shots a game, then you need to make sure Jabari does that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't have faith in Jabari, then you just let Jabari play the way Jabari's playing. To me, I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but if that's it, I mean, Jabari's showing this jab turnaround jumper that he's hit the last couple of nights. That's just crazy good. I mean, he is really good. It's a really good move.
If you watched him in high school, if you watched him at Duke for the 1 year, where he was really good was when he was at the top of the key or on the wing, where he had a chance to create. There have been a ton of times this season where either Jabari or Giannis are shoved away into the corner. And all of a sudden you got the sideline, you got the baseline, you have very little chance to maneuver unless you're a good three-point shooter. And then, you know, no problem. But neither one is.
Yep.
So what is the purpose of putting 2 extremely athletic guys in the corner that can't shoot threes? It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's a good point. I don't necessarily disagree with what you said there. The other thing, too, is as we get closer, the Bucks right now will sit 4 games as we record this, 4 games out of the 8-hole in the Eastern Conference playoffs, having won 5 of their last 7. Their next game is in Houston on Friday night, and then they go to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans, who've had a big-time disappointing season themselves. I think this team's going to be in the playoffs. My thing is,
I'll say it right now. I will say this: they aren't going to the playoffs.
okay, but now my thing is this: Cleveland, they can't beat Cleveland. But outside of Cleveland, I think Toronto could give them a problem. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Toronto. Everybody else in the East that they may face, and even if they get in as a 6 or 7, I think they can win a series.
Oh, so do I.
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. They have the talent. The Eastern Conference, for all the improvements these teams made, over the summer, is still the Eastern Conference. There's like one great team, and then about 6 or 7.
But if you compare the
teams.
East to the West,
yeah.
There's more consistency right now going on in the East than there is in the West.
Oh,
the 8th seed in the West is 5 games under 500. 5 under. Tell me the last time that happened in the West.
But if you take Golden State, the Clippers, San Antonio.
Those 3.
And
those 3 in Cleveland. Those are your top 4 teams.
And Oklahoma City, which is playing very well now. They're playing great the last couple
Yeah, they're
weeks.
getting better.
So
I agree.
All 4 of those teams are probably as good. Almost as Cleveland. Okay?
I agree with
best
you.
team. And after Cleveland, there's a huge drop-off.
But wait, hold on. I mean, in fairness, you're acting like Cleveland, and then they're all a bunch of under 500 teams.
No.
After
Good teams,
Cleveland,
not great teams.
Right. Toronto.
There's 4 great teams in the West. There's 1 in the East.
Agreed. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But now look at the rest of the conference. All I'm saying is, if you look at both conferences, you're going, okay, let's look at the top teams, don't care about the rest.
No, but I'm supporting you because that's where the Bucks could beat all these teams because there's not much difference between all those teams.
Right.
That's my point.
So from that perspective, I think they can get on a run. I mean, Orlando's now on the outside looking in because Boston, I think, is the 8th seed right now, who the Bucks are chasing. Mm-hmm. So you have Orlando, you have Boston, Detroit. I mean, a lot of these teams all could fall backwards here. The Bucks have went through a pretty difficult stretch of schedule up until this point. And now, looking at the schedule last night, Gary, they've got pretty much a bunch of winnable games between now and the end of February.
Absolutely.
They can really put some stuff together.
And that's why I truly believe they're going to the playoffs.
And then if you look at the end of their schedule, they play a lot of games at home going down the stretch.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you look at April, their last few games in April, outside of Philadelphia, they're all division games, I think.
You did your homework.
Or something like that.
And that's why, some of these fans are jumping off the cliff already. First 1 month into the season. I mean, you got to wait till the middle of the season to get a good indicator where your team is and what's in front of you as far as the schedule is concerned.
The key is going to be, can they continue to play with the intensity they've played with for the last week or two? If they can continue to do that and play at that same level, I think they will be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a problem for somebody.
And we've seen it. Jabari's gotten better. I mean, he's had some monster games lately. We've seen...
Not monster. He's played better. Not monster.
He had like 28 and 14 the other night.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a monster
that
game
is
in my
book.
Yeah. And then Jabari is shooting like...
Oh, Giannis, you said. I thought you meant Jabari.
Oh, no.
No. Okay,
and Jabari,
Giannis has.
And Jabari has definitely improved in the last 2 weeks.
He hasn't had the monster.
I mean, he when the guy's shooting like 57, 58%, you can tell he's feeling comfortable. That's the one thing I love about Jabari. In all the games that I've seen him play so far, I have not seen him take a bad shot. I mean, where he really forced it.
I would like to see Jabari, own a game for the Bucks.
Absolutely.
Where he just puts the team on his back and goes, look, I know everybody else ain't playing all that well, but I'm going to go win this one for us. I'd like to see that at some point. It doesn't have to be this month, next month. Just before the end of the season, show me that you're capable of doing it. That's kind of what I'd like to see.
I agree.
At some point.
But it's not going to happen as long as Middleton takes his 20-some shots.
But he's fine if he's shooting 50%. Middleton can continue
I agree,
to do that.
But you're saying you're looking for somebody else to break out. It's not going to happen unless they have the
Why?
opportunity.
If you look at Oklahoma City, Durant and Westbrook both hit 20-plus shots a night.
But you also have Monroe and you also have the Greek Freak. You got 2 other guys that want the ball.
That's true.
Okay.
Quickly, before we get out of here, Ty Lawson rumors floating out there. Do you think the Bucks are a match for Ty Lawson at some point?
We talked about this about a month ago, and all of a sudden it's coming up on a national level more so. But, I mean, it's no secret that Lawson is available.
Yep.
I mean, same like Kevin Martin in Minnesota.
But Ty Lawson's not going to cost you what Kevin Martin's going to cost you.
You know what?
Ty Lawson's what, a second-round pick?
In most cases, I would be opposed to it because Ty Lawson really needs to get his act together. But I believe he can get his life together. I think he's a very good person at heart. And I think a change of scenery where they give him confidence and guidance. He's a heck of a player. When he's got his act together.
He hasn't been a heck of a player this year. He's averaging 7 points.
But you see what he did about a year ago?
Yeah, a year ago.
I mean, you could arguably say he was one of the top 5 point guards in the league. So it's a matter of getting him back on track. And I'll tell you what, I would roll the dice on it.
Yeah, the other thing that concerns me is the chemistry aspect, how he fits into this team, and who knows. Yeah. He is Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. from the Wendy's Big Show on AM 1250, 105.7 FM The Fan. We'll talk to you next time here at RacinSportsZone.com.